Hello and welcome to a Halloween prop tutorial. In this video we'll be turning this tombstone into this moving pop-up skeleton tombstone. This project is fairly simple and only requires a few tools to create this moving skeletal tombstone effect here. Without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Hello everyone, so what I would like to do with this tombstone I have here is take this old Christmas reindeer motor that I have and find a way to mount it into this hole, add a linear slide that goes up this part of the tombstone, and then on that linear slide I will mount some sort of skeleton skull or ghostly figure onto there. So as this sits in here and rotates, it pushes that thing up and then down, up and then down in a slow motion. And the reindeer motor would work great for that because it requires no extra programming. It already has a gear ratio in it. All you gotta do is plug it in and it starts going. It's great for a very simple motion in your Halloween display, and that's what we will be doing in this video. So before you start following along in this video to make what we will be making, I would highly recommend watching the video all the way through so you know what you will need for this project. So what you will need for this project is a foam tombstone of your choice, a reindeer motor, and access to a 3D printer. This project is very 3D printer centered, and if you do not have one, you will not be able to do this project. Some 3mm screws, and of course, the thing that will be popping up behind your tombstone. All of these things can be found on Amazon or other websites, and I will be posting a link in the description to where you can get all of these products, excluding the foam tombstone. Of course, you will have to make one yourself, and there are plenty of tutorials online on how to make these insulation foam board tombstones. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is take the file that will be found in the description, the pop-up tombstone motor mount. This piece I have designed right here. You're going to want to trace it onto your unfinished tombstone, your unpainted tombstone. Once you have done that, you're going to want to go ahead and cut that shape out. What I have actually done here is I have already cut this shape out in preparation for this, and this was designed secondhand, so this is designed specifically for this hole that I have made here. I had carved the hole last year when making this batch of tombstones in preparation for a project like this, and I'm just now able to get to this part of the project. Now that we have our 3D printed piece, what we're going to go ahead and do is slot it into the hole that you have made. And as you can see, it fits pretty snugly. However, we do have some issues with how far I cut. You can see up here, it does not go down all the way. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take my Dremel, and I'm going to have to take this small part here where it dips down for the wire, and I'm going to have to Dremel that out more so it's more flush with this main part here. So now that we've gone ahead and made sure that our spot for our motor mount is prepped and ready to go, we can go ahead and mount our reindeer motor to the mount itself. You'll find 2 little screw holes in this cross section here to go onto the lower part of this motor that used to mount to the reindeer body. We'll be using, of course, our 3mm thread diameter screws. I went ahead and put a washer on there too. I'm going to take my Allen key or hex key, tightening that on there. And now our motor is secured and ready to be mounted to the tombstone itself. So now that we have made sure our motor mount can fit inside of our hole, we can begin to mount the motor to the tombstone itself. What I'm going to be using is this Gorilla Glue heavy duty construction adhesive. I do not know how well this is going to work. This is just what I have on hand, and it has worked well for the construction of these tombstones itself. If I had to guess, probably insulation expanding foam type material might work better for this, as it can fill in all of the little cracks. But I'm going to give this a shot. If this works, great. If this doesn't work, I will have an update either in this video, depending on how this goes, or have an update in another video or community type post with a solution to that problem. So now that we've gone ahead and used our adhesive to set our motor in here, we're going to let it dry. The next step will be creating the linear slide for our pop-up character to ride on, along with the attachment that will go onto our rotating piece here, and then the attachment that will be used for our pop-up character to mount onto. Alrighty, so after a few failed 3D printing attempts here, and with these 2 pieces, we finally have a system that will work for us. This right here is the slide that will be moving up and down with the motor. This is what our slide will be running in, kind of our trough system, and then this is what will be connecting our motor to the slide. There's a few different parts here. We have this attachment that goes onto our slide, so we can mount something to this directly to the slide. I just have some screws going in there, fastening this piece on. This will just slide right into there, if I can get it in there. Like that. Allowing for our slide motion. This long screw here is going to go into this small hole right here, right there. It'll thread right in. That's going to attach this to here so it can rotate freely around that point. This part will be attaching to this part of the motor here. It fits right over, and then we will run this screw and washer right through the middle, which will run right through that hole in the motor, whatever that is there. and then we'll put a nut on the other end of that, allowing this to rotate freely while staying secure, and then allowing this point to rotate freely while also staying secure. So let's go ahead and do our quick assembly. So while all of this comes together with screws, all that is really left to do is mounting our slide trough system itself to the tombstone. What I'll be using for that is the same thing we use to mount our motor in here, the Gorilla Glue heavy adhesive, construction adhesive, and I'll just be applying it to the back of that, putting it on there, adding some weight onto that, and letting it sit for about a day when I'll come back to it, or about just overnight I'll let it sit and I'll come back to it. And then our mechanism should all be done, all done, and then we'll be able to mount whatever head we're gonna mount to our slide up here. So we went ahead and used our construction adhesive to adhere our trough system to the tombstone. I'm just going to apply something heavy onto it so it holds, let it sit overnight, and we'll come back tomorrow to see how we're looking. I'm just going to put this dry lock masonry sealer can on top of it. It has weight to it, and I think it should work out fine. Okay, so it's the next day. We can go ahead and remove our weight from our trough system here. Then we can go ahead and put together our little slide system to see how it's working out. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide this in here. Put this over. And put our screw down through. Put it into that hole. Just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in here. Wow, and as you can see, just like that, it is working. So we now have a working linear slide converting rotational motion to linear motion. And then we are almost done with this project. All I'm going to do now is add a dab of super glue into that hole to hold this screw in, and then we can go ahead and mount our head, and we are all done with this project. Alrighty, so now that our mechanism is finally done, what I've gone ahead and done is I have zip tied this miniature skeleton, something you can find at Lowe's, Home Depot, Target, for I would say about $25. I've just zip tied it to our little piece we had screwed in here, there, just to test it out a little bit. You can see as I plug it in here that he does indeed move with our slide, which is a great sign. All that's left to do now is to stand him up vertically and position your character or head or whatever you would like to put on here however you would like. I'm going to go ahead and just use this guy. I think he's a good fit for this tombstone. I might remove the legs just to make them a little more lightweight, easier to handle. And now you're just ready to position your character however you like, put whatever you would like onto here. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do, and we'll see the final result. Well, thank you for watching this Halloween prop build and tutorial. If you found it interesting or helpful in any way, I would appreciate it if you could like the video or subscribe to the channel. It lets me know that there are people out here who are interested in this content and helps encourage me to make more stuff like this. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again sometime in another prop build.